G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat, this will be my Knackers Yard. Let's move on to the second half of stripping down this Superdream top end. So I've got the engine out, that was on the last upload. I've had to record this slightly ad hoc intro to the second bit, just because even with all the editing, it was just taking forever. So let's just get on with trying to get this cylinder head off. Right, so it's had a bit of a clean. I've got the worst of it off. And by the worst, I'm talking loose dirt rather than cleaning and polishing and the like. Dog's only here because I have food behind the camera. It's lunchtime. Right, let's get on with this. Get on with the show then, shall we? So, cylinder head bolts. The two examples of working with these that I've seen, Ryan's Garage and Bikes of Rye, I've managed to break one, so let's see how we go. Certainly Bikes of Rye, I can't remember when Ryan did it, but certainly Bikes of Rye basically undid one, moved to the next one, undid one, and the book says about easing them out, not equal, a little bit. There is a bolt sequence in the book which I am following, which effectively does opposite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sound like I'm at a dance studio. So I'm literally just trying to do a tiny bit at a time to start with, trying to be patient. Ultimately, time spent here should save me time and expense in getting any drilled out, because they're locked. 5, 6. Six, 7, 8. That's 1. 2. Moved. 3. 4. I keep looking back to the book because it is incredibly easy to lose track. That one's quite loose. 6. 7. That one's a bit tighter. If I got an awkward child here, I could just put the engine on its side to get more leverage. There's obviously no oil in it. Who was being the bitch? It was you, wasn't it? being a bitch. Just go back and tighten them. Go around one track. I'm just giving them a little bit of a snug. Two. Falling off my really bad rack. Using a big fast extension bar when I don't need one isn't helping. Two, three, four, four, five, six, eight, seven, I'll tighten back up nice and easy again then. Let's just see what I can do. So I've tried to get them back to all about the same. One. Oh, that was a bit too far. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Six. Seven. Just a bit tight. Right. Let's go for sideways where I've got a bit more leverage on its side. Stay. Well, that'll work. That'll work. That's just the oil that was in the rocker top. Right. That'll work. Doc, you're in the wrong bloody place as usual. That's going to be the problem child, I can see it coming. That dog, get out of the way, please. There we go. I think that's got us. That was 7, what was it, 8. Yep. So back again. The Renegade Master. Some of you will get that reference. Right. Hopefully that stopped being a bitch now. Right. One a bit. 2 a bit, 3 a bit, 4 a bit, 4 a bit. Now I am being a bit moist here, I know, but having seen 2 other people goose this, I would rather be accused of being a wuss by doing this too gingerly and snapping something and having the delay and expense of having to send it away. I have no idea where I would send it as much as anything else. I'm struggling to find a powder coaters and strippers that isn't an hour away, which frankly is probably the one I'm going to use because it looks good. Also comforting by them having their prices online, so I don't feel like I'm going to be ripped off too much. Oops. Stick with the correct order now. Got this far, do it properly. There we go, we're getting there, people, I think. Tempting feet, but I think we are relatively both hunky and dory. Now I am at top dead centre. I have taken the sparks out as per book. Which does mean that most of the pressure is off the valves. I think it's still one engaged, and I think it's near the middle because it's tough. Alright, let's get you back on the frame. Tell you what, 250 engines are a damn sight easier to move around than 650s. Right, I'm going to finish my lunch and then finish them off. Right, let's get these big buggers out then. Oh, I've just lost my page. All the way out. All the way out. Right, now the book suggests, well, the book point out 2 things. One, copper washers on the inner 4 because they are oil passages. The suggestion on the book is to try and keep it all as one unit rather than putting bits out. Let's try the other one first. Encourager. Well, no, I'm holding it in the middle. Don't really know why. I've not missed anything, have I? No. Why are you not coming to play? Plastic lever, not a flat bladed screwdriver. Okay. So, any markings on this that tells me which is high and low? Two front, one opposite way. One front, two back. Can only go in one way. Try and keep them together because that's what the book says. You can see why that one was a little bit more awkward. It's just muck. It's not rust. It's just muck. Just tuck those over the edge for now. Try and keep them as a oneer. To the side. Again, plastic lever. I don't want to start belting it too much. Nor do I particularly want to start hoiking a flat-headed metal screwdriver in there either. I think it's just not hydrolock but a hydraulic lock because there's oil in the passage obviously. Free on that side. It's just this side that's being a bit of a bitch. So I've got like plastic collets on opposite ends. Again, mucky slightly. Well, I mean, a couple of them look fucking immaculate. I'm well happy with that. Well happy with that. If there was a hurdle I was going to fall on, I was expecting it to be that one. Yeah. Right, now I think it's bolt to get the camshaft out, but let me have a read and I will see. Right, so I've got to get to the bolts. Now the difficulty, I can't quite see, difficulty is going to be that stator is going to spin when I'm trying to undo them, so I've just locked it off with a Spanier. There we go. So just broken that. I'm turning it the wrong way. Not going to snag the cam chain or anything because it's all open. Quite so tight as the last one. Right. It does make a big deal about not dropping these, particularly if you're only doing a top end rebuild, but this is getting bottom end as well, but that's not to say that I want to drop it. For obvious reasons. Right, I'm going to get a carrier bag to put all this in, I think, so I can keep it all together, but the two bolts I'm going to put just behind you at the moment, which now theoretically means it doesn't say anything about camshaft tensioner, which is unusual. base to do much here, I don't think. Can but try. Is it going to give me enough? Oh, it is. I didn't think that was going to let me. My last build, I had to mess around with the cam chain tensioner. Right, let me just grab something, because I don't really want that chain dropping all the way through. Just manipulate around the lobes. That can go on something that isn't the floor. I don't know if this is supposed to go on one way or another, but I'm matching it because it's got the oil marks on it. I'm just going to chuck those bolts back in so that I do not lose it. I'll lose them. Right. So that's the camshaft and sprocket out the way, and for your memory, Nat, goes in that way, mate. So bolts on the stator side. Right, I'm going to go and grab a bag and put that in. Right, now unlike other bikes I've done, i.e. the 650, there's no bolts through, it's the bolts, it's the what are the rocker bolts, what do they call them? 11 cylinder bolts that hold the whole thing together, but it does tell me to slacken, then remove the cam chain tensioner. The bolt. Oh, slacken / remove. I wasn't expecting the whole thing to come off. Oh, hang on, that's why. Just pulling that back. Does it then reckon that the cam chain tensioner can just pull out the top? Yes. I wasn't expecting that. Relax. Retains the tensioner bracket. What retentioner bracket? Oh, the one above it. Disadvantage was working on your knees. I was going to put this on the bench, but because I was working at the top end, I'd have to strap my camera to the ceiling. I'll get onto the bench once I've broken this down a bit more. Right, does that mean that I can now just yank the cam chain tensioner? Right, so slacken remove the lock jack, secures the cam chain adjuster. Tension made to relax. Remove the bolt from the rear of the cylinder head. Retains the bracket. Note that this bolt are fitted with sealing O-ring to prevent oil leakage. No, it isn't. Oh, not there, it isn't. Oh, there is one inside. That's good. Right, I think that's just slackened the... I can't just put it out, that's fine. Right. So it should just be a case of just pulling the bastard now. But it won't be, nothing's that simple. Oh. Shut up, Nat, what do you know? Lift it a bit, just trap my thumb, which is always good fun. Stab that through so I don't lose the chain, and I've got the head off. Ooh! That was a surprise. I expected to at least have to beat that up a little bit. just going to drop that on its side to try and get the oil to drain out somewhere safe. Right, I've just spun you around the other side. It should just lift off. Cam chain guide. Ugh. A bit of a wipe. It's all in one piece. There's no lumps or chunks taken out of it, which can only be a good thing. Put that next to the book mat. Right, cam chain tensioner I think needs some attention. Let me reread old Bucko because it's catching, and I think it's a tensioner that it's catching on. Let me read again. Right, as ever, 1, have the book, 2, read it. So I need to take the cam chain. It's talking about an R clip. I didn't know what the hell it was talking about, but as in this case I didn't know what it was talking about. Not what's an R clip. It's an R clip because it looks like a capital R. It does say that it's too wide to pass through. So it says to separate it. Does it say to pull it out? Let's place the R pin. No, it doesn't say to pull it out. It says to separate it. Because that's too wide to pass through. It looks a bit rusty in there. Okay, told me to do that. I'll just put that to the side for now. It says to get back to top dead centre. Oh, missed the little mark on. Get back to top dead centre. And potentially wedge it. So I'm using the Badger again. So it's top dead centre, both pistons at maximum height. Now that is still catching. Oh, that's because it's a bolt through the tensioner, isn't there? You fucking moron. How do I get that off then? Oh, like that. So effectively it's the bolt through the tensioner at the back. It's just releasing it that way, pulling it forward. And I didn't know that. That looks a bit rusty, nasty. It's just right. I think I'm all clear now. What I am going to do is push that back through the way it was. And the R clip back in. Go with the other tensioner. And we'll see how we go this time. Ideally without that tensioner catching. Right, I think we're there. It's now caught on the piston rings. Oof, look at that. Nasty, nasty. So I can see the bottom of the piston. Sorry, my head's probably in the way there. Not sure how much you can see. Let me just check so you get a good a view as you can. There we go. Now I think there is a degree of yank and hope that's going to go on here. Let me just get that cam chain out of the way. Don't drop off the screwdriver. Thank you. Yeah, there's some guns kicking around bit of lubrication might help me there. Just testing the walls. Don't seem too bad actually, a bit grotty. That one seems lovely and smooth. That one less so. If you can even hear that. Hang on, let me do a fingernail. Fingernail. And that's the side that had least compression. If you can hear that. I don't know how sensitive my microphone is, but what I don't want to do is keep clouting the frame with the pistons. So I'm going to lift the engine up by the tension that's in it. I wonder if a little bit of oil might help. Don't look too bad. Right, I'm going to leave that for a few minutes while I go and do some other chores. Right, it's had a few minutes. Check the book. It does actually say use block and a rubber mallet. So I've just pushed them down a little bit just to help ease the way. And obviously it says use a rubber mallet and a wooden block, but be careful not to break the fins. Yeah, we shall see. I'm going to try a bit of levering action first, I think. I get the feeling that this side, i.e. the high side, is going to be more of a bitch. Oh, you swine, it's just too thick. I could do with a cleaner edge than that. What have I got? Have I got anything? Right, let me get a cleaner edge. Right, found something. How solid's that? Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, I can feel it moving. That's good. I can feel it moving, Doctor. Right, working theory. Working theory is, can I need to be careful of the cam chain here. If I can't view, I don't want to bother baby. No, if I can't move the pistons or the head through the piston, I do wonder if I can move the pistons through the head. Bit concerned about that cam chain. So I've wedged it a bit and I'll see if I can move the pistons through. It's a theory. Right, so let's be careful, those pistons are going down the hole, frankly. And they're not at the moment. Yes, they are. Are they in? look to be. Where's my torch? Just spied one. Where is it? Yeah, they're in. They're in. They certainly moved down the shaft. That's one off. Oh no, they're both off. I'll just drop the fucking cam chain. Never mind, I can fish that out. Hurrah. Hurrah and huzzah. I'm not quite sure how much you can see, but you can see the tide line. That torch. Fucking torch is dead. Move you into daylight. See if that'll help. Now I really can't see the screen to see what you're seeing. Focus is in and out. But I can see a tide line of where that piston was and where it ended up. I'll investigate further and show you. My voice is going. Fuck. Right, let's have a look at the pistons themselves, shall we? We should try. Focus dependent. In fact, let's just get those pistons out. I'll need them out at some point. Right then, this has turned into a slightly epic one. I might have to break it into two, just because it's taken a fair amount. But I have to say, it's almost fallen apart. The most fallen apart, come apart quite easily. My biggest cock up was by having the lift on a platform so that I could slide it. Meant that it was too high for me to get the engine out, so I kind of had to manhandle it out. But aside from that, it went okay. I struggled to get the cylinders off at the end. Eventually I pulled the pistons through rather than pulled the, well, yeah, about 50-50 or 75-20, whatever. But effectively I did pump the pistons through in the end, which did the last bit, but my cylinders are a little bit cocked. So I've christened my manual. It was pristine pretty much when I got it. It's supposed to be covered in oil, crying out loud. A lot of the reason why I like paper versions rather than PDFs on my phone, because I don't want to get my phone covered in oil. I've got my gasket set. It's not there for advertising, it's there so I don't lose it. Bottom end's up there. I'm not going to do any more with that at the moment, but not quite sure what you can see in there, but it's pretty rancid in there, frankly. Needs a good clean out as much as anything else, but you know, it is there because I didn't have the any gears. Sweep that up a little bit because that chain's getting collared. Ugh. Yeah, so you know, that works. I need to play with that, but yeah, it's the gears that are the issue. So that's another day. Let me get you set up and we'll do a bit of a post-mortem on what we've got on the top end. As ever, accompanied by the dog. I won't strip too much because my hands are minging. I've just looked back at my footage and realised that getting those pistons off didn't film for some reason. I'll pass, my apologies. Ultimately, I did look for my gudgeon pin removing tool, but I think I threw it away because it fell apart because it's cheap Chinese. So I got an old bearing set that fit through and catch the lip. And then just give it a couple of taps. That one fell out, so the well, the right hand side as you were looking at it, but ultimately the left piston, if you like, the one that had the higher compression, probably the better way of putting it. You can see, yeah, it's nice and clean. It just came off. That was fine. This one wasn't playing. The manual says about pouring hot water on top to warm it up, so I just gave it a quick belt of heat and a couple of love taps, and it came out fine. So no great shakes on that side. Give me a second. Pull up my trousers and realise I'm flashing my arse crack at anybody that walks past. And lots of people do. I'm currently my seat's got wheels and I'm on a slope, so if I go quiet it's because I've gone down the driveway. So looking at the left, and it does say to scribe them so you know which is which. I've got, I think one's an oil anyway. I've got 2 out of 3 ain't bad in terms of I have some rings that actually move. They're actually therefore fundamentally probably doing something, although they're fixed on one side. Yeah, and one that is just stuck in, so effectively that's doing naffle to my understanding of how pistons work. There's no expansion, there's no whatever, it's just not doing a lot. Right, the one on the other side, so the high side, the right hand side, I've got all 3 that are fixed, i.e., say stuck. Yeah, stuck. They're achieving nothing, they're not expanding, they're not gripping, they're doing nada. So I'm not going to push it, I'm not going to push my luck by pushing that in, but effectively this was the side that had naffle compression, which makes sense because there's nothing expanding, there's nothing holding gases, it's just pumpity pump pump. Looking at the cylinder heads, I think you can just see, look, relatively quite shiny, a little bit dull at the bottom, but effectively, again, the left hand side is clean. The right hand side, I tried to show you this earlier and it wasn't really showing. I'll try and get my head out of the light. See, halfway up I've got a tide mark, and at the top, it is pretty much halfway actually, the top is rough. So I tried doing this with my finger earlier, barely hear anything. Fingernail, that's in the top, the rougher bit. Can I reach the other bit? Quite quiet down the bottom. I am using my fingernail and rubbing the pad of my hand against it to make a point. Comparison. Right, so what? I don't know if I can rebore that. I have seen the, look like pipe cleaners, I suppose, with the baubles on it. I don't know whether or not I can fix that up and just don't know, answer on a postcard or ideally in the comments section below. But I'm sure I need to do something with that. And the head, I did show you earlier, but I'll do it again. Let me just get you out of the way so I can actually reach it. Always heavy with a straight arm. I'm not going to go through stripping down the valves yet. I will, but they were working fine. In terms of they were certainly moving. I've no idea about the tolerances or how close they are to tolerance on that side. The valves themselves, I could pour some. I could put the sparks in, pour some liquid on the top and see if they hold. But fundamentally, they're going to have to come out and get cleaned anyway, because there's no point chucking them back in as is. Threads throughout don't look too bad. I'll have to try and clean them out and give them a chase. oil reservoirs look fine, gasket's fine, although I obviously have got a replacement. It still needs a clean. I've got the worst off what I could, but looking at the you know, exhaust wise, they're pretty nasty. Yeah, so and in the kit that I've got, I do have oil seals and everything else, so yeah, it needs a clean out one way or another, but not right now. I think that'll do me for this one. Again, it's a lovely day, and I feel the urge to go and do something different, but cool. This is either a very long one or two medium long ones. We'll see, but I've got some tidying up to do on that end, and I've got some more stripping to do on the bottom end. Depending on how the mood takes me, I may do one then the other. I may try them both at the same time. What I should do logically is try and clear this first, I think. What I need to do this evening, I think, is do a bit more, oh, excuse me, a bit more shopping for sandblasters and powder coaters to get that other frame done. The free rolling frame is just tucked away for the moment, and I intend to do nothing with it until I've got the new frame, the registered frame, set up. And then the beauty of having this bike and the way it falls together and falls apart is that I can transfer bits across, clean them on the way, refurb them where I can, oh excuse me, refurb them where I can, and then just transfer them one to the other. Right, that'll do me. Thanks for sticking with me. Cheers all. I'll catch you later. Ta-da.